if we've been working with glass sculptures for a while, we might be asking the question, hey, how can I take this up to another level? How can I, after doing dozens of glass sculptures for family and friends, which I've done, how do I take that to a different creative level? And literally look up to create some hanging totems. At least that's what I did. So I'm going to give you some examples and then walk you through how this can be done. I know if you visited my page, you've seen plenty of these, but let me just kind of show you some examples. And maybe you can find some inspiration. Okay, these are some finished pieces that I've got. They usually include several elements. Really just 3 for me. 4 if you count the hanger on top. Okay, you will usually have some sort of a round base or globe. A lot of times that's from a candle holder, kind of a votive base. An appropriately sized plate or saucer, and some sort of a martini glass, champagne flute, small vase, and then of course the hanger. So to me, that makes a pleasing drop-shaped hanging totem. So we have, and you can get creative with those. And then if you're fortunate enough to get some color pieces, that can change your dynamics a little bit and inspire you more. So again, we have that globe base, saucer. In this case, this was a champagne flute. That has a nice look. This one, a little crazier, but it started with a blue, cobalt blue vase and a saucer. I think maybe another intermediate dish and some sort of like a martini glass on top. Sometimes you get something that's a little more solid on the bottom. This is cylindrical, same idea from a candle holder with some mosaic glass on it. This one has a rather large blue dish because it has a pretty big margarita glass, I guess, on top of that. And well, I'll show you one more. You can get really very crazy creative with them too. Give it a try. This happened to have been a fairly large vase, possibly a candle holder, I'm not sure. It had a purple tint to it. I punched that up a little bit more by putting inside it another purple glass, a saucer, and this happened to be a fancy shot glass that I put below it. So that one holds up. So what are the things that you can use? Again, find yourself something that will work for your initial hanging piece. And this I've yet to use, but it really looks special. And you actually see a lot of these kinds of candle holders in thrift stores. That would be perfect. I'd still have to come up with what the other 2 pieces would be for it. I've done several with heavy water goblets like these. They're also perfect for creating that tapered spot. Now I've got this cobalt blue flute, which I think will be good, but the problem is, the good thing is it has a gold rim to it that you would just lose if it was part of being fastened together. So I'm not ready to give up that gold rim that way. You'll find all sorts of margarita type glasses. This again has a nice swirl in it, so probably combined with a blue plate and some other colorful base, that would be good. You can get some very delicate ones. This looks like, once in a while you can find some lead crystal champagne flutes. Often it's because they're chipped on the edges and you really wouldn't want to use that with guests, but this isn't entirely clean, it's a little dusty, but they'll sparkle very nicely in the sun. You might even find some small flutes. This case That would be good. With a small, I probably won't use this, but it could work as with a small saucer and a base that was not very big. This happens to be some mosaic glass that might, I can do that could work. Proportionally to me, that all works. If I wanted to do that, I'd have a small, like a sun catcher in a window somewhere. So we've talked about the tapered part. Plates, again, keep your eyes open, see what you can find. Sometimes you can find some nice colored saucers. It's hard to find them sometimes, or some plain ones if you have color in your stem and in your globe. I've got some rose colored, probably depression glass, but you may not be able to see, but that has just a faint rose tint to that. All of those can work nicely. And then, as I said, your bases underneath can be some sort of a globe sphere, some mosaic glass. Again, mosaic glass. This is a cylindrical base. It's a little heavy, both physically heavy, but also visually heavy. So you'd have to find something that would balance that out well. You'd probably use a larger plate, and I'm not really sure I have. Let's say it was something like this. Color wise, I don't think I would do that, but you could. And you know, that to me that fits proportionally fairly well. So those are the kinds of things you can do if you want to create hanging glass, and I'll walk you through a couple of those today. Hey, we got some fun projects today. So what are we going to make? Well, we've got 3 pieces here that are going to be part of something kind of special. I have 3 other pieces that I've pulled together. A really colorful candy bowl, a glass candle holder that has been chipped, which is probably why it was in the thrift store, a glass globe that was once part of a hummingbird feeder where you had a cork and a little spout that is no longer part of it. And then I've got elements of another totem here. This is just for showing you that I don't think it's going to work, but could have. So today's lesson is going to be about hanging totems. Okay, to start with, we're going to take our red mirrored base. We're going to put a rim of caulk, the silicone caulk, around it. We're going to put the plate on top of that, and then put the vase on top of it. We want to make sure everything dries well before we go on and put the hanger on it. So that'll be our first task. I want to let this one dry before I go any further. This one, I've got a couple options of how to do it. I think what I'll do is construct this part of it first. third piece, this is going to be the base. We're going to put plate on top of that. It could go either way, but I think in this case I'm going to go up with it. When they're outside, they do tend to catch a lot of water and debris, but somehow the aesthetics of it, for me, look better. Those are two pieces. It's going to sit on there. Okay, I think we're centered up about as good as we can. What was my next step? Well, it was to take this glass cup, this shot glass that we have, put that on. And last step is I've got a glass bead that I can add to the top just to finish it off. Just because. All right. So there you have one quick totem. Not a very tall one, but I think it will do nicely out on the patio. I have my other two ready to go to the next step. This one needs the globe underneath. That one needs the stem. They both will need the hooks. We'll be back with those as soon as that all dries. While we're waiting for those to dry, let me talk about the last element that we'll need, and that is a hanger. Now these hangers we'll put on the top. They'll be fine using silicone. They're about the only hanger I've found that works because they've got a flat base. So that's another aspect of what we're doing. And I think this dried enough to where we can put this piece on that. So I'll be doing that in just a moment. You know, I'm having a lot of fun with this. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun with the glass anyway, but it's It's getting to be a lot of fun putting these videos together. There. I'm certainly not a pro, but it's fun, and I'm glad you're watching. I appreciate all the comments. I've made the suggestion that if you've made some glass art for your garden or your deck or your patio, and you want to share that with the community here, please do send me a picture. Tell me about it. And if you need to buy any supplies, you've got lots of choices, but if you happen to use my references, I think I might get $1 or $2 out of it. I don't know, maybe enough to pay for a tube of silicone. All right, let's see how this goes. You know, I think I could go ahead and put that on. This is how we attach the hanger. And it has to be a pretty good glob. And you'd be surprised at how well this can anchor and hold. I've tried some heavy vases on some of these hangers, and I kind of waited to find out, oh, is it going to crash? And they don't. This silicone makes it really good. If you get a good seal, it's pretty darn strong. We'll let that dry. Still have to work on this one to put the globe on and the hanger, and we'll be done. Wow, I'm excited. You know, every time I make one of these totems, no matter whether it's a hanging one, a tabletop one, one of the bird baths or fountains, I'm amazed by the design. I'm just enthralled by them, which may be why I end up hanging on to so many of these, and they're decorating my backyard and my deck and parts of the living room, dining room. I've got way too many, but I love them. So this is how this totem turned out. I really like it. It's got a little bit of a tint in the lower etched vase that plays off of the water goblet that I got, that amber color. Found these other shot glasses that have the same kind of thing, and a glass bead on top. So that one just comes up really nice. The hanging totem that I was telling you about that we'll put outside at some point really just is great, and those mirrored tiles will just sparkle nicely outside, creating a lot of interest. I think that one's just going to be spectacular outside. So that one's very cool also. And then we have the last one to finish here. Again, another one of our hanging ones. Let me see if I can get that in the screen. Move this over. This has the candy dish on the bottom of a rather tall glass candle holder. That has dried. What I'm going to do now, I'm not going to be able to put the hook on just yet, but what I'm going to do now is put my globe in, and this is the globe that used to be a hummingbird feeder. So I'm going to put some silicone on that, let that dry, then I'll be able to put the hook on the other side, and we've got another hanging one. These are exciting. I have fun with them, and I hope you can find a couple of pieces that will make it possible for you to do some hanging glass totems. As I said, it really has essential elements of some sort of a flared dish, some sort of a globe underneath, a stem, a tapered stem that's usually a candle holder or a thin vase or a champagne glass, champagne flute, and put those together. Plus you're going to need the hook. So far, this has been 7 years of building these different totems, and I've had good luck with them. Yes, I've had some repairs to make. All right, I'm going to do this, and that may be all we can manage today.